Good evening. I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster with Weather Now Kentucky. We're back once again with you, letting you know something has popped off here in Western Kentucky, and we'll cover that with you guys here live right now. Of course, if you would not mind, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. Get this video out on your news feed. Very important this time to make sure we share the broadcast because, again, not a lot of folks are to know about this. This is something that is occurring right now. So let's go ahead and pull up the radar here, not play around, waste any time here. Again, if you're just not coming in here, we do have something that is sparking out here in the western portions of Kentucky, and I'll tell you why this might grow into a strong to maybe possibly a severe threat here. So, first of all, before we get into this, I want to show you something that Mike and I have identified as the reason as to this possible spark right here. If you look at this map here, again, we've been featuring this quite a bit on our broadcast the last few times here. We do have, if you look at this, usually these are straight lines or they're curved lines. What you're seeing along this line is a notch in western Kentucky. That is a shortwave. Shortwaves are pieces of energy that move throughout the upper levels of the atmosphere. And when they come across an environment that they decide that they like, they can spark. And of course, with the amount of moisture that we still have, yes, we had a lot of rain today. Yes, we had a lot of activity, but there is still energy in the atmosphere evidenced right here. Let me go ahead and show you this. Dew points are still in the low to mid 70s in most locations, especially out in western Kentucky where they did not see a whole lot of action compared to places like eastern Kentucky, who actually just got done with that main line that we've talked about all day long. But here we are back once again, and I'm going to show you, just kind of looking over here at the velocities, we're already starting to see wind gusts getting up toward 55 mile per hour or so just south of Sacramento, Kentucky. And because that shortwave is still present on the charts that we are seeing, the dew points are still in the low to mid 70s. For most people, some people are in the upper 60s. Still plenty wet enough to get this thing rolling here. This started as a little blob, if you will, traveled south, got across that shortwave, and then boom, now we have all of this. Now our challenge over the next few hours, or not few hours, but over the next hour or so, is to try and figure out how big this gets, what the threats are, and so on and so forth. My feeling is, let me just walk you through this because I'm kind of going through this here with you guys. So you're going to kind of see the process that I go through here on trying to figure out what exactly is going on, because I'm going to tell you right now, this did not show up in model data, right? That's kind of the reason we gave you the all clear. If you look at this crazy looking Blues Clues map here, you'll see that most of Kentucky is covered in a very deep blue. Very deep blue typically means, well, it does mean that there is a cap over the environment. When it's this dark on the blue here, that is a very strong cap on the environment. Do these storms care about that cap? Clearly not. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other things that we have on board here. So this is called surface shear or bulk shear. All right. I'm going to tell you this. This is something that we've missed all day long. We have not had shear available for these storms all day long. These storms that we had today were genuinely just instability-based storms. Okay, they were just energy-based storms. We had no wind shear. We had no helicity. Right now, we have 20 to 25 knots of wind shear. That is enough to support severe weather. All right, we go on here to storm relative helicity. We see that there are a couple spots, basically from central Kentucky back out to the west, that are over 150 storm relative helicity. That is enough to support severe weather. We go over here to the mixed layer, which is the layer above our atmosphere a little bit. We look at if there's any juice up there. There is juice up there. So all signs point to the fact that this might produce severe weather throughout the next hour or two here, especially in western Kentucky. We go here and we look at the Cape downdraft. So this kind of tells us where the energy might be present to support wind bursts that may occur. Usually you want to see this number over 1,000 if you are looking for the potential for severe weather. As you could tell, in most parts of Kentucky, besides the ones that just got hit in eastern Kentucky, everyone is over 1,000. So that is also a check mark there. The only thing that can help to stop these storms is the cap over the environment. But I can tell you that since these storms are already becoming quite large and quite tall, that cap is probably being broken. So again, that kind of goes to support the storm growth and perhaps the storm threat overall. Again, checking back in on the velocities here, we'll go zooming in here on Central City just for example. We can already see that 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts are present in Central City. That probably needs a special weather statement on it. Hopefully, the National Weather Service offices are awake right now because these things may need warnings here soon. Let me see what Mike's saying. Okay. All right, Mike is watching that. He's also taking care of Twitter for us. For those of you asking questions on timing and where this will track, I want to genuinely tell you that this just popped up within the last 30 minutes. We are trying to still get a handle on this as well. Again, model data did not show this. I'll tell you that we have a large cap over the environment, but the fact that these storms are able to grow are showing us that the cap is not really being effective. I can tell you that all the energy metrics that we just went through are there. Where exactly or how far this grows is kind of unclear right now. Once again, these are kind of swinging, so you kind of look at this and you're kind of like, where is this moving? Well, we're asking that as well. If you look at it, once again, just putting it in motion there, you can just kind of tell it's almost swinging like a pendulum. It's like it's not really moving southeast, where it was moving southeast, now it's moving directly east. Is it going to pull to the north? Is it going to go east here? Surface winds tell us that this will probably push out to the east. So if I had to guess, and we can already see this trying to connect and back build to the west here. If they can connect and move back to the west, now you're talking about a line of storms, right? And those may swing to the east there. So again, kind of just watching this as we go along here with you guys. We're all kind of waking back up here trying to figure out. I mean, I was probably about 15 minutes away from falling asleep. Thankfully, I did not, because we were talking about. We were just talking about how the storms went today, how our forecast went. All of a sudden, I open up the radar just to give it one last check, and I see the little cell. It was actually started up here just to the south of Owensboro in Livermore. And I see this one little cell, and I'm like, that shouldn't be there. And so I open up the analysis on my phone, and I'm like, there's energy there that should not be there at 11 o'clock at night. Let's head back to the computer. By the time I got back here to the computer, it had grown. So, again, we're kind of watching this play out while we're live here with you guys. I'm not going to give anyone an all good or an all clear yet for those of you that are asking about it. Because, once again, we kind of need to wait and see how this thing interacts with the atmosphere over the next, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes here with you guys. And kind of look at what's going on here. So, again, we may have another severe threat on our hands tonight. I do want to let's pull up the models here, and let's look and see if these things caught it, or if the model caught this. I'm very curious if it was an oversight by us. We'll admit that, but I genuinely don't think it was. So let's see if this caught this. So obviously it's going to see it now, right? It has it fading out. But let's go back to an older run here. Let's say the 19Z run. Let's take a look at this. Valid for 10 p.m. Central Time. It did not catch it. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I was losing my mind there. So this is actually an older run from one of the best models out there, or supposedly the best models out there. And this is valid for 10 p.m. Central Time, aka 11 p.m. Eastern Time, which is right now. If I open up the radar, we'll see we have ongoing clusters of strong thunderstorms from Madisonville to Greenville, going up to Central City, back over to Hartford, Livermore, Calhoun, going up to Fordsville, just south of Owensboro, right? There's nothing there. So that's what I was kind of telling you guys earlier when you were asking them, can we look at the models for tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, well, I could show you, but they're not really accurate. This is what I'm talking about. You can't just look at models, because models just, especially throughout the summer, they're just not accurate. Okay, let's go ahead and go back through the velocities one more time here and try to take a look in here and see if we can identify anything. Once again, still seeing those 50-mile-per-hour gusts showing up just to the north of Central City. May need a flash flood warning out here soon. I want to see, see here. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? That's not what I'm looking for. Let's just go over here. I know it's on radar scope, so let's just go over here and look at it. I want to see how tall these are. 35,000, 40,000 feet tall. So So these are pretty tall thunderstorms as well. So again, just kind of shows us that the storms are breaking the cap with relative ease right now. And once again, the reason for this is a kink in the flow of our upper levels. So once again, it kind of looks like this. Let's go ahead and show you. Let me use a different layer here. This is the 700 millibar. This is several thousand feet up here, and you can see usually these are straight or curved lines. You can see kinks are all over the place, especially in western Kentucky, and that's the reason right now for the firing of these storms that are ongoing. Looks like they're building up on the north side now as well. Mike should be in here. Might have a line of storms with precipitation on the back side. If these can tap into the wind, this would probably be another Boeing segment storm system here. So stay on board here with us. We're kind of doing some analysis here with you guys. I wonder if our which office is this? Louisville? Hope I didn't go out for a dinner break. The hope is that these just become rain showers, right? And there's a very real possibility that these just become rain showers. I want to make that very clear as well with you guys. There's a very real possibility that these just become rain showers. This is not like an end-all, be-all severe threat here. There's a very real scenario where these are just rain showers that have popped up and they're going to cold pool and just make a bunch of noise all night, right? That's the most likely scenario, by the way, because again, our environment is pretty worked over from this afternoon and this evening. Our environment's pretty worked over. Now, there's still just some energy out there, as we just displayed to you, right? There's still some metrics that are being met. So, again, a couple of these could go severe. But the hope is that these just become big rain showers with some lightning in them, so some thunder showers. So, Tiffany, you are in Central City. You're seeing what we're seeing here, so you can verify that the wind gusts are likely around 50 mile per hour. I live in Bremen and only pay attention to Paducah, NWS, not Louisville. They're always wrong. Yeah, I think everyone has their. Even we're wrong sometimes. Madisonville, Hanson area, we're here. Rain, thunder, bad lightning. Hope it dies down. So we got some confirmations out there. What we're seeing, seeing a little bit of some decent shape right here. If we're starting to, we got a little tail starting to come out right here. I have a little tail starting to come out right here. We're gonna have to watch that. Again, there's a little bit more wind shear and helicity that's available, so this would almost support. And again, I'm not going to guarantee this because this is not something I'm taking my bank account and betting all my money on it. But this supports a severe threat. It does. I mean, just based upon what we're seeing, this again, the hope is that this becomes just a a big rain shower line. But again, some of the metrics that we're seeing supports a severe threat. It really does. I mean, dew points. I'm over here looking at it on the other screen that you guys can't see, but dew points are still in the low 70s in most places. We still have wind shear out there. We actually have more wind shear now than we did earlier today. Um, but we still have wind shear out here. We still have helicity out here. We still have cape. Now, the cape is a little bit lower than what we had today, of course. When the sun goes down, the cape goes down. It's a pretty good rule of thumb here. By the way, Mike, if you're still in the broadcast, I'm actually measuring. You said 20 to 25 mile per hour, but this is showing up a pretty evident 45 mile per hour measurement here. Not the T word. No, I wouldn't use the T word. I would just say it supports it supports a rogue severe threat. Now again, it's going to need some help because having severe weather at night, it has to almost be a perfect storm in Kentucky. Um, because usually 9 times out of 10 here we need the sun involved in some sort of way. So usually our best severe threats are from 3 p.m. ish to like 9 p.m. ish. Beyond that or before that, the storms need a little help elsewhere. Um, I'm curious to see if there's any dry air out there right now. So let's go ahead and go like to a sounding here. I just want to click on this and see if there's any dry air. Yeah, Mike, if you're still in here on this newest run here, I'm chat kind of ignore me. I'm talking to Mike real quick. But if you're still in here, there's a nice bit of dry air right next to the surface that could be helping to aid these in their future. Yeah, these things are still growing, by the way. Wow. Hmm. There's a little kink at the 850 millibar as well, which is about 5,000 feet up. Sorry, again, we're kind of doing the analysis right here with you guys. You know, usually we do this before we get on or in the background, but we're kind of doing it right here with you guys. You kind of get a look into the process. Now, obviously, there's more to it than kind of what we're displaying right now, but uh, there's a little bit more to it. But we have we have kind of have to do this as we're going along here. I mean, again, this just kind of popped up right here with you guys. There's a little bit of dry air behind this as well, so that's kind of helping to force these storms along. If you see this back here, looking at the sky up here, is the green that represents a bit of a more of a wet clouds. The brown represents more of a dry atmosphere, and where you have this dry air right behind some wet air, it can help to force a it can be a forcing mechanism. Is basically what I'm saying for storms to be forced to initiate. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling over my words here. I'm trying to talk to you guys and do analysis at the same time. It's actually not as easy as I thought it would be. Doing them separately is just fine, but doing them together is kind of interesting. Okay, let me read some of these YouTube comments. I'm saying Alex says thunderstorm warning going to be issued soon. Don't know what county it's over. I don't. It's not quite there yet. I wouldn't say we're looking at severe just yet. Mainly because when I go to measure these winds, they're kind of more around the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. Um, Now they can tick up, but I kind of want to watch this area here. If we can get these two to connect, we might have something to go on down here. But we'll continue to watch that. Tiffy, thank you for that update there. What direction is this moving? It's kind of swinging. So let's put this in motion for you and kind of see it with your own eyes. It's kind of swinging. So just watch how it just kind of swings. Looks like it's mainly moving to the southeast. But we're having some deviation. What I mean by that is some of them are moving away from where they should be tracking. So they almost look like they're swinging, but they're mainly moving to the southeast. Yeah. And that matches the flow of the wind gust as well, so or the wind chart. So if you look at where did it go? Actually, the winds are kind of all over the place. Again, I'm just kind of doing this right here with you guys. Please, I just said it's swinging to the southeast. What do you mean I haven't said where it's going? Sorry, I know I'm probably a little cranky, but I genuinely just said that. Just getting on. Sorry if you've already mentioned that this. Is it moving toward Elizabethtown area? So, I was about to head to bed, but I have a child at camp in E-Town, so I didn't want to sleep if they weren't in the clear. Again, it's kind of unclear right now how much it's going to grow. Right now, if I had to guess, I mean, we have the lines beginning to connect right here, and they'll likely swing to the southeast a little bit, so E-Town may be clipped by this. But again, right now it looks like massive thunder showers. Let's hope it stays that way. and doesn't actually turn into any type of severe threat. Gabriel, thank you for that update. I appreciate that. It looks like some activity to watch near St. Louis is blossoming that could hold together and make it to Central Kentucky. I doubt it. Again, there's a lot of there's a pretty big cap in place. So what will actually probably occur here is you have this going on. It'll eventually die somewhere, hopefully, and then this will move through here in probably about a couple of hours. This will probably die somewhere in here. That outflow boundary will slide a little bit east, and that will be the spark for tomorrow's storms out in eastern Kentucky. So I don't think this one makes it here today, but the boundary that's left from it may be able to spark storms tomorrow. This is so interesting. This is so interesting. Again, the summertime for me and for a lot of folks is probably the hardest time to forecast. Not because not because we don't know what we're doing, but because summertime storms can be unpredictable, especially in the deep summer, like late July going to August. You can have stuff like this happen all of the time. They can really just spark at any point. And here it is, a little bit of a weak shortwave. It's not anything strong, but a little bit of a weak shortwave. And here it is, sparking some more storms tonight. Oh, really? That sounds awesome. BGWX. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We were talking about it. I'm like, let's watch it for a little bit, and then it started growing, and I'm like, okay, we need to probably hop on the broadcast here before it gets too big and people start freaking out. Again, let's just hope this falls apart. Let's just hope this is just rain showers. But I just want to watch this here with you guys for a little bit in case anything gets going. Again, I want to see these. So these are getting closer and closer. These two cells are getting closer and closer. I want to see them connect and see what they do. If they connect and don't really do a whole lot, we'll probably hop off the broadcast because it kind of tells us the storms probably aren't going to get dangerous. If they connect and start to do a little something mischievous, then we'll obviously stay on board here with you guys. So that's kind of what we're watching for now. I want to see those two cells connect, these two right here, and I also want to see these two lines connect. And I want to just see how they act when they connect. Because sometimes when you have cells that merge together, aka a cell merger, they can get stronger and end up producing stronger or severe weather. So again, I want to see how all of this kind of connects when it collides here, probably the next scan or two, and I want to see how they act. Tyler, it's just impossible to say right now. Right now, we're doing current analysis with you guys, just because it's kind of popping up right over us right now. It would be different if this was something that was either on models or if it was something that was coming from, like, let's say St. Louis and then diving down here. But this is genuinely developing right over Western Kentucky. So right now, the best thing to really do, the best practice that you can do, is kind of sit, wait, and watch. Kind of see how they move. Kind of see how they interact with each other. Kind of see how they interact with the new boundaries they're about to run into. Because remember, the more they go east, the more they're running into areas that have already been hit today several times, or for several hours, I should say. So we have to wait and kind of see how they get into those areas, kind of go from there. Thank you, Whitney. I got you, Tyler. Jill, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's my goal is to teach as we're doing this. Some people don't want to learn. Some people don't care to learn. That's totally cool. They can hear the forecast and tune out for when we start teaching. But I think it's so important to learn these types of things because there's so many things and so many tools that you guys have at your disposals today. For example, the live radars on your all's Weather Channel apps or whatever it might be. And quite frankly, those are flat out terrible. They're almost never accurate. So my goal was to try and teach you guys from what I can see, so that you could try to decipher in the future whenever you're using those tools, one, if they're accurate, or two, if it's something that you can depend upon. And three, you kind of see, okay, what you need to lean into, maybe what's not going to actually happen. So, and for me personally, I think the more you know in life, the better off you are. So, even if you never use these tools that I kind of teach throughout, the years and stuff, then at least you're better off for having it. I guess I don't know. I like to learn about things that I'm never going to probably do either, because you never know. One day you might end up needing it, or maybe something you get interested in down the road, or whatever it might be. But I think it's so important to not just give a forecast, but to explain how you got there, because one, it just adds that human element, right? We're not robots. We're going to get some stuff wrong from time to time. Thankfully, we haven't been wrong too much. But especially in the wintertime, everyone has a big fail rate. Just because wintertime storms, especially in Kentucky, are just abysmal, especially the last few winters. I don't even want to talk about it. Um, but I think it's important to not just explain, the result of something, but the process of how you got there, because it just adds that human element. It lets you know, like, hey, we're not robots, guys. We're gonna get stuff wrong. Also, I think a night like tonight is great too, because I just showed you, right, that this did not show up in model data, so it lets you know that also we're not just model watching, we're actually doing analysis as well. Shout out to Mark Weinberg for telling us we don't do analysis. But it just I like being able to show people how we do things, just so they can know it's legitimate, it's human, it's something that they can maybe use in the future. I want snow this year, Loretta. Me too. I'm a big winter lover. Now, I don't like the snows that come down and stick around for weeks at a time. I like the snows that come, they look pretty, then they get out of the way. You know, but the last few winters we haven't even gotten that. It feels like, unless you're in far eastern Kentucky up in the mountains. But it just we've just had terrible winters, especially here in Radcliffe. It feels like we either get sleet or nothing anymore. Like, it just flat out terrible. Okay, we have new scans coming through here. Let's see how these are interacting. Haven't gotten an update on radar scope yet. Let's go back to radar Omega. They're just now starting to make their connection down here. So let's see how these do over the next couple of scans now. This one will be making its connection here very soon. Oh, dude, yeah, I love forecasting winter. Now, our fail rate is a lot higher in winter. Basically, what that means is we fail on our forecast a lot more than winter. But that's just the name of the game. That's just the name of the game. If you're not failing on your forecast in winter, either one, you live up here in northern United States where it's a lot easier to forecast winter, or two, you're not making your own forecast. Here in Kentucky, where we're in a transition zone, so if you guys did not know this, another little teaching thing, here's your transition zone for the United States, which is why we have different grass seeds and everything else here. Um, this is one of the hardest spots in not only the country but the world to forecast during the winter, which is why a lot of your meteorologists actually get paid more through here, because one, you're dealing with genuinely all four season types, and two, it's one of the hardest regions in the world to forecast during the winter. It's almost always just a flat out headache. You never just have an easy storm system. Samuel sleeping, sort of, kind of. He was crying when I left. He's teething right now, so it's not been the smoothest process in the world. The Nashville storm, it's moving south, so it's not going toward Franklin. It's moving away. Don't like the weather in Kentucky. Give it 5 minutes, it'll change. Yes, especially in the fall and spring. Especially in the fall and spring. Yeah, but yeah, BW or BGWX. We're always in that battle zone. You never get an easy forecast here, and if you think it's easy during the winter, then something's probably wrong. It's almost too good to be true. All right, let's see if we have any updates here from Radar Scope. We do. Um, see a little bit of action right here. Not a lot, but something that we definitely just got to keep watching. Again, it's not a lot, but definitely just something to keep watching, at least for a few more scans. I'm going to butcher this name, but Hattie, thank you very much for your compliment. I appreciate that. Laura says, OMG, the teething already. Yeah, he turned 2 months about 4 days ago. Um, but yes, he is teething already, which I know is a little bit early, but we don't control that. Um, his 2 month appointment comes up next week. So I don't know how much he weighs, but last time when I did the little at home weighing, he was 14. He was approaching 14 pounds. So he's a big baby. He's a big baby. When he was born, he was 7 pounds 11 ounces. That will miss Columbia in a dare. Again, it's just a matter of if this holds together. So again, that's probably a little impossible to tell for now because here, hang on, I clicked the wrong thing because you are almost 100 miles away from this. So again, this can fall apart by the time it gets to you. It can grow. I would say that if this holds together exactly like it is now, right, it would probably go into Columbia at some point in the future. That's again if that holds together. We do have a couple more cells kind of just popping up back out here in northwestern Kentucky. We might need to keep our eye on as well. Although this is not in a favorable position, it's not based off of what I've seen from current analysis. This down here is in a favorable position. That's why we're on live here with you guys, just kind of watching it throughout these late night hours. Thank you, Laura. My oldest two kids started teething at 2 months old, and both had two teeth by 4 months. Wow, wow. You're expecting your third baby in October? We have one, and I just can't imagine just yet. I do want to try to give him a sister at some point. Obviously, the plan is to give boy and girl and be done, but obviously that's not how it goes sometimes. Brenda, we just don't know about Edmonson County just yet. Again, we're kind of just watching and seeing how these things roll. These just popped up about 40 minutes ago. So right now we're just kind of doing some analysis as we go through, literally minute by minute, and just kind of keeping an eye on these. Once they start moving around a little bit, once they start actually getting going and actually dropping a little bit, that's when we'll be able to tell the path, how long, the impacts. But right now, it's more about just kind of watching and seeing how they meager throughout the state here over in the western portions of Kentucky. I can hear Samuel crying, so I'm assuming he's still awake. Oh, yeah, Laura, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I'm tired. I have no filter right now. Man, this has been an exhausting stretch. It wouldn't be so bad if we were back in spring and my body was ready for it. I'm in that rhythm. I'm in that routine. I've already been doing it for 2 or 3 months at that point. Uh, but coming out of nowhere like this, having to try to hop back into that zone, it's not as easy as it looks. You know, a lot of folks just think we sit here behind the desk, which we do. But hey, there's something about having that rhythm. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you were to go to work every day, for a few months straight, and then all of a sudden you take a week off or 2 weeks off, and then all of a sudden you're going back and it's busier than it's ever been, right, at work. Yeah, it's kind of what we're in right now. It's trying to just get back into that rhythm, of the things that you check, of the things that you do, of the equations that you do, of the formulas that you use. It's trying to get back into that rhythm that's kind of causing me to just go, oh, what's going on here? And then when I get done going and feeding the baby, which I never had to, when I get off a broadcast, I never had to go and take care of another person before. I used to just go right to sleep and just crash for 16 hours. But now it's like, okay, now I got to get off. Is he okay? Dude, does he need food? Is mama okay? Because, I know that's stressful, being the only one taking care of him right now. Um, so it's just a whole lot of adjustments that I'm going through right now. Just again adding that human element to it. We're not robots here. We're people too. So trying to get off, trying to balance the two things. And part of the reason why I got off earlier, despite how severe it was because I knew he was teething, not feeling well, and I knew our team had it in the background, and it's just a lot of adjustments we're going through right now. He is mad. I can hear him. I don't know if you guys can hear him through the microphone, but he is mad. Okay, those two cells have connected, and what we're seeing is exactly what I did not want to see at the moment. To see the strengthening, the deepening of the red on the rain side, and we're seeing some reversing winds on the wind side. So it looks like we're staying on here a little bit longer. Let me go see what he's doing real quickly. Yeah, no, I'm not in my very professional clothes right now. Like I said, I just got out of bed, hopped on here. All right, no severe warnings right now. Okay, Laura, I think so. I think so. Again, just kind of depends on how much this grows on the northern side of the line, but I do think Eton's probably in the clear. But we'll keep an eye on it for you. You want to say hi to everybody? Whoa, a little wiggle worm, a little wiggle worm. What are you doing? He's looking up at all the colors. Want to say hi to everybody? He likes to look at the camera sometimes. They wanted to see him, and he wanted to see them. See? They see my little carrots? Okay, you can stop looking at the TV any second. Water teethers are a miracle. Water teethers, apparently. Whatever those are. Is that what he's crying about in there? And he's hungry. Thank you for the 50 stars, says OMG cuteness overload stars for little man. Look, you got some stars. You're making more money than me. There you go. Good job, buddy. Let it go toward your formula fund. What you think? He's like, what in the world's going on in here? Why is it so bright? Oh, you freeze them? Okay. All right. You want to go eat now? You want to go eat now? You want to put a little, like, in this corner or something in the house? Baby's already a hustler. Oh, look at that. Bet you keep him on here. All right. Samuel Stars. Thank you for the 20 stars, Ivy. Yeah, we'll definitely look into those water teethers. We've been trying to figure some things out. We got some teething tablets and other things, but I don't know if he's just getting sick or if they don't seem to be working. Seeing a little bit of an uptick in the velocity here on the Greenville storm. So Greenville and Powderly, be on the lookout. You probably got a very strong thunderstorm in your location right now. A little bit of lightning going on with it as well. These two lines are connecting as well. So now is kind of go time. Now is kind of the time where we kind of just watch and see what these lines do now that they're kind of connecting. We got this side that connected to the Morgantown cell, and those two cells over here are connected to the Central City cell. So now we kind of just watch the next two scans or so and see how everything acts here. We're all tired here at Autumn, but I do think so. It's just a matter of how far north this grows. It's showing signs of trying to grow up to the north side, but I think that this will struggle on the northern side of the line. We'll keep an eye on it. It's got some cells actually firing up over here, or up here in southern Indiana now too. What in the world is going on? Oh, let's see. Yeah, that makes a little sense. Mike, are you still in here? I'm gonna send a picture of this to Mike. Oh, the O wasn't a bad O, by the way. It was just like a oh, I found something. It wasn't a bad O. It's just we see this here, so I just want to explain to you why I said oh. Was because we see all this down here, right? But we're starting to see it almost try to connect all the way up like that. And when I pulled this up over here, so this is the moisture convergence chart. Basically, this shows us where storms may spark. And if you kind of follow that same white line, so just to the west of Hardin County, I-65, just to the north of Bowling Green, up toward western Indiana, and then into eastern Illinois, right? Here's your first part. Here's where the cluster storms is now. If you follow that white line up, it's almost the same path into the other moisture pool. So I wonder if those are trying to connect, which would be quite interesting. Which would be quite interesting. Again, have no idea how that impacts the severe ability. This is all just thunderstorm development, not necessarily a severe ability on those charts. No, Savannah, I don't think so. It's definitely not strong enough to consider that. Yeah, Nisa, we can do a real quick recap real quickly. So back, let's see if we can put this in motion here. Let's go to 30 frames. This should be good enough. So you'll see they kind of sparked out there toward Henderson and Evansville, rode along this boundary, and then ballooned a northern line. And then watch up here. So it's going to run again. It's going to run again. Give it a second. Watch up here toward Jasper, Indiana right now. Right now. And then boom, it's kind of sparking a line. So what's happened here is a shortwave has come over from several thousand feet up. It's gotten to that Evansville area, sparked some storms. And I wonder if there's an outflow boundary here that is trying to spark. If it is, that would create a massive line of storms. But once again, I want to keep you reminding you, there is this massive blue blob across almost the entire Midwest and Ohio Valley that's helping to try and prevent, that's working to try and prevent storms, I should say. So we actually have like a battle going on here, and I'm still seeing that northern side developing. Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you're, Mike, are you still in here? Mike, are you in broadcast? Jeffrey, thank you for the 50 stars. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a shortwave at about the 700 millibar, Alex, that's sparking these. Yeah, please. I don't think we're talking about anything, significantly severe. I don't think it's anything you guys have to stay up for here. It's just something that we're going to monitor because it's new. It's not all model data. It's new, and we have some rotation on the east side of Morgantown, heading toward Brownsville, Smiths Grove. We do have some rotation there. Now, again, this does not indicate a tornado is on the ground, but we do have some rotation and a taller storm at this point as well. Okay. So again, we have some rotation here, and we also have, if you look on the bottom left of your screen, it is a 53,000 foot tall storm compared to the rest of them at 33,000 feet tall. This might be one to watch right here for the potential for severe weather. So let's keep an eye on this here. And again, this is near Morgantown and Woodbury where we're seeing that little bit of rotation right there. Again, it's nothing impressive, and again, rotation does not always indicate anything or tornadic. It can indicate a number of things. right? But we do see some lightning strikes there. We see some rotation, and it's also a very tall storm compared to the rest of them. So let's see here. Now that that cluster is kind of condensing and getting closer together, let's see how they act. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get some coffee ready, I think. Mike, get in this broadcast. Yeah, Alex, it's just how it goes sometimes during the summer, man. It really, like, truly. Jeffrey, you don't have to be in your safe space, but I would just, kind of watch the storms for a little bit here with us, if you can stay up a little bit. I'm trying to show him something, and he's just being a butt. Perhaps we don't have any special weather statements out from the National Weather Service. Danielle, it's just impossible to know. Again, like you mentioned, there pop-ups can occur, so we have to keep that in mind. So I cannot rule it out, unfortunately. I would love to give you guys definitive answers, but as you guys are seeing, we're kind of getting the analysis on this as this is going here with you guys. Bowling Green, stay here with us. Let's see how this storm acts here. When you mention rotation near Morgantown and how tall the storm is, what does that mean? Usually, your more severe storms are taller storms. So over 40,000 feet, over 50,000 feet, 50,000 feet and up is a pretty tall storm. Um, and usually, your stronger storms are taller, depending upon the scenario that you're in, of course. But if you look all around here, we have 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet, 37,000 feet, mainly 30 to 37,000 feet, right? If we go down here and look at Morgantown, you can see it's 53,000 feet down there in your bottom left. That just, again, this indicates an anomaly within the storm line right now. Also, looking back out here to Greenville, we're starting to see some rotation there now as well. So, again, we need to keep an eye on the southern side of this line. And now we're starting to see cells go up in Breckenridge County as well. So, again, we have some growth here. Lots of lightning in Morgantown right now, too. So, it kind of indicates a strengthening line of storms. So, we definitely have some things to watch here. Absolutely. Make sure you guys are sharing the broadcast for me. I'd appreciate that, especially now that we're in the overnight hours and no one really knew about this, including us, including the National Weather Service. Please help us spread the information out by sharing the broadcast. I would appreciate that a lot. Again, Katie, we just do not know yet. You have a couple cells to your west. We need to see how they act as they're moving to the east here. Thank you. I see two more shares right there. Thank you so much. Let's keep those shares going. Thank you, guys. Justin, Jordan, thank you for sharing the broadcast. I appreciate that. That's a great point, Alex. Lots of rain involved with these. Thank you guys for all the shares. Welcome in here. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. We are dealing with a pop-up storm system that is occurring in the western portions of the state, trying to stretch up to the north here. We do see some potential that this may turn severe here soon. Once again, most indicative by the rotation that we're seeing. Again, it's not anything super significant. It is pretty broad, but we are seeing a little bit of rotation just to the southeast of Morgantown, just to the south of Greenville as well. Keeping an eye on those two cells in particular. Once again, a little bit more shear and helicity to work with tonight. Basically, a little bit more storm energy to work with tonight. On the flip side, there's also a bit more negative energy, so there's quite a battle going on right now. Okay, Mike's in here now. Thank you, Mike. Everyone say hello to Mike. Oh my goodness. Mike, look, this is what I've been trying to tell you. You have these that are trying to connect here, right? This has popped up in Indiana over the last 15, 20 minutes, right? You have this over here on the eastern side of Illinois, right? Do we have a boundary sparking? Not just in western Kentucky. Forget western Kentucky. Look at the moisture convergence here. Look at western Indiana. Look at eastern Illinois. Can we have it? I need you to see if there's a shortwave or anything up here as well. If there's a shortwave here and a shortwave here, we could have an entire line sparking. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I just don't have time to look at all that while on the broadcast. Thank you, Mike. They're doing great, Deanna. Dennis, that's what we're here for. Always, always, always watching. Always watching. Thank you guys for all the shares on the broadcast. I appreciate you once again. Thank you to everyone that's helped us with that. A lot of likes on the video tonight, too. Thank you. No, Matt Grace, you definitely don't have to do that. There's no immediate threat in Bowling Green. Again, this storm is over 50,000 feet tall still. So it's still a pretty tall storm ongoing, just exiting Morgantown and Woodbury. Anything for Bullitt County is still impossible to tell at this moment. This is still developing, so we're monitoring this as this develops. We need to see if all of these lines connect or if they stay gapped. I know it's a very blunt answers tonight with you guys, but again, with this developing right over us, there it is. This is what I was trying to get Mike to check out for me. So that connection that we were making there, you see this line developing here. You see this line developing up here. This is trying to get going here. It'll probably move over and try to connect it in a line. What we're seeing now are two different short waves. So you have this kink up here in Indiana and this kink down here in southern Kentucky. If those can connect, we might be talking about an entire line of storms here over the overnight hours. So that's what I was trying to get Mike on here to look at for us. Caitlin, this does look like it might be tracking into Warren County at this time, I should say. Before this moves any further, I'm going to go use the bathroom real quickly and get ready for this in case this thing moves a little further. 1 second, y'all. All right. Yeah, Alex, looks like that might be the potential. Okay, that rotation has gone back down now in Morgantown, so that's no longer a concern at this time. Continue to watch that. Now our eyeballs are fixated on these two cells in Western Grayson County and in Breckenridge County. I mean, we'll still be watching this, of course, as well, but we need to see if these connect. The hope is this stays separate, it goes its way. These stay separate, they go their way, and no one makes any more connections. If we start getting connections everywhere, right? We start getting connections here. We start getting connections up here, right? That's going to spell a long night. So the hope is these just stay apart. They all go do their own thing, have their own dances, right, and get out of here. Because I think we're all tired at this point. Do you think we will see a tornado? No, I do not think so. I look at the water vapor chart again. Hmm. I would think so. The main threat was probably still be wind and flash flooding with these. Lots of thunder in Litchfield. Thank you for that update there. Yes, Becca, Bellingham will likely see this cluster right here. Correct, Mike. Yes. Thank you. Is Ohio County in the clear? Also, is it hitting again at 3 in Western Kentucky? WKYT app shows it coming in at 3 for Ohio County. This could make its way over here. That I mean, just if that stays together, there's so much of a cap throughout here. They're all big what ifs, right? Even if you do see some activity at 3 a.m., being at that hour, I wouldn't think it would be severe. Is there still rotation in Greenville? I don't believe so. Last time I checked, very, 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 very broad. But this type of shape here would probably indicate a downburst of winds. Probably not anything tornadic at that point. Still seeing a very broad rotation over here in Morgantown as well. But once again, it's not in a favorable position with the storm. So if you look at this, the rotation would be here. The actual storm is back here. If you're looking at favorable rotation, it would probably need to be down here. So I'm not really looking at anything specifically, just in the near term on that cell. What I want to kind of see here is if these two cells get together. Well, that shape is kind of funny, isn't it? If these two cells get together here and try to do anything. Thank you for the update on Lewisburg. Yes, it's definitely been an exhausting, 4 or 5 days here. Um, it's just once again goes from that switches off. You're trying to flip it back on. What did Ivy say? What have you missed? Not a whole lot, really. Just watching the storm development here out in Western Kentucky to see if all of this connects and makes a line, or if it just kind of just does its own thing and then gets out of here. Yeah, but once again, this is not severe. It's really not even all that strong. It's probably just going to be loud in Bowling Green. No, no one needs to be in their safe place. Exactly, Kevin. It's been a long week, my friend. No, I don't think anyone has to watch, guys. I don't think we're looking at like tornadoes galore out here. I don't think we're looking at Twisters, the new movie. But it's something worth watching, mainly because we've dealt with the damaging wind threat the last few days. We've dealt with the flash flooding threat. We need to watch these things because not a lot of folks know about them coming because once again they popped up out of nowhere. But I don't think this is anything that anyone has to stay up for. I don't think this is anything anyone needs to go to their storm shelter for. Could we see a severe sell out of this? Maybe. I wouldn't say probably, but maybe. I would also say it's probably unlikely. Again, to get severe weather in our neck of the woods at midnight Eastern time, you need a little bit of help. And there are a couple things that are going against this storm from being able to realize its full potential. Um, so I don't think we're looking at anything, massive, historic, significant. It could just get very loud, lots of rain. Pretty much the same MO that we've had the last 4 or 5 days here. Again, so we do not know yet because we're watching how it develops right now. This is genuinely developing right over Western Kentucky, so it's a little bit different, right? If we have a line that we know is coming from St. Louis, we can watch it come from St. Louis and go all the way through here, just kind of learn about it until it gets to Kentucky, right? When something's developing over us right now, it's hard to tell exactly what the impacts or what the track is or any of those little details because we can't. It's having to go and develop right now. Also, none of this was on model data, so we have no help there either. This is genuinely kind of a kind of like we're blindfolded. We're kind of just going at this, doing some analysis over here on the right side of the or on the other monitor while I'm talking with you guys, trying to see if all this entire line here connects or not. Trying to see, a lot of those little details so we could try to start getting some impact questions answered for you guys. But right now, it's really just a bunch of watching and kind of learning about the storm and seeing how they go. Pretty much, Laura. Trying to not get off the subject, but I'm seeing that next week is going to be wild. Also, have you heard anything yet so I can be prepared? Quite honestly with you, I have not even looked at Saturday. I just haven't. We've been so occupied with trying to decipher each and every forecast this week that genuinely we haven't even looked at the weekend. Now, what I can tell you is that I do know that there's a cooler pattern ahead. And of course, as you guys know, anytime we get cooler weather that moves into a very warm atmosphere, something is going to happen. So while I can't tell you that I've looked and I know what's going to happen next week, I can tell you that it would make sense if there was a storm threat next week. Looks like it's just sitting in one spot. Looks like it's barely moving. I mean, it's moving definitely because remember it was all the way up here, so it's definitely moving. I would say it probably at about a speed of 20 to 25 mile per hour. Um, so it's definitely moving. You finally got him to sleep. We'll go get some sleep, babe. I love you too. But again, there's definitely moving, but I would say it's pretty slow. It's pretty slow going. It's only gone about here. We could do the math on it. So we started at Morganfield. Now it's down here. Let me just see. Morganfield on the backside. Central City on the backside. Okay. Starting in Morganfield, 10:05. So exactly 2 hours. 2 hours. It's gone about 62 miles. Where's my calculator? 30 miles per. I don't even need the calculator. What am I talking about? About 30 miles per hour. A little bit less. How's baby Stormtrooper doing? He's doing great. He's teething right now. She says she's finally gotten home to sleep, so she's going to try to get some sleep herself. He's teething right now, so it's been a a little bit more difficult than usual. But when he's not teething, it's actually going pretty great. He sleeps a lot, Sleeps a lot. And I'm not talking about like, waking up and then going back. I'm talking about at one time. He almost sleeps through the entire night now at 2 months old, which is, a blessing. I would say at night when we put him to bed right around 9 o'clock or so, 9:30. Um, and then he usually sleeps until about 5 a.m. And then we feed him around that point, and then he'll sleep again until about 9:30 a.m. And then we'll feed him at that point. Sometimes he's awake from there on out until the early afternoon hours. Sometimes he goes right back to sleep if he wants. We kind of just let him do what he wants at that hour. Um, and then he stays up pretty much all day. I mean, really, we try to give him naps. You're supposed to give him naps every 2 or 3 hours, or every 2 hours or 90 minutes or so. We try to. He doesn't like naps. He's pretty much like a grown little man. He sleeps at night, stays up throughout the day, has probably one good nap throughout the day, and then it's just the same thing over and over again. So really, zero complaints from us. We'll take that 9 times out of 10. Sometimes because he is a baby, of course, he needs more sleep than what he's getting. He just doesn't sleep very much. Um, Sometimes he gets a little bit cranky throughout the day, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. What did Mike send me? Yeah, that makes sense. Look at the Mike. If you're still in here, by the way, look at the height on that one too. So we have some taller storms starting to go up once again. This one is a little bit different. This one's on the western side, Greenville heading or Rosewood heading toward Lewisburg, crossing through Dunmore. This one's got a little bit more winds to it. It's a little bit taller, but again, nothing too abnormal out there. Cells are starting to split off now and head right into Bowling Green Metro, heading toward Plum Springs. Thank you, Lisa. Do you show the future radar? We don't use a future radar around here, my friend. And this is not showing up on model data, so it probably would not show up on future radar as well. Um, this is kind of just something that we're going with as we're speaking here. Lots of lightning just exploded out of the western side of this cell. Did you all just see that? I wonder if it'll show if I put it into motion. Watch the last few frames of this around the Highway 431 marker. Right here. Whoa! That is a very clear sign that this part of this cell is gaining some major strength. Some major strength. So Rosewood, Dunmore, Lewisburg, be on the lookout down there. Lots of lightning just exploded with that storm cell. Holy. Yeah, we see an uptick in the rainfall rate too. Still at 50,000 feet tall. This could be producing some very heavy rainfall. Let's go ahead and switch this off to correlation coefficient. Put it down here on vertically. Yeah, looks like some hail may be involved with this as well. Probably some pea-sized hail. Pea-sized hail, lots of lightning and very heavy rainfall. Rosewood, Dunmore, Lewisburg, probably 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust as well. Oh no, you're okay, Justin. That was the past. So if you look at the timestamps down here, you can see that if it shows up on the broadcast. I just never use Future Radar because Future Radar is it's lightning like crazy in Beachmont. Let me just type it in here. I learned this earlier from some person on YouTube. I didn't know you could type in up here. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're probably seeing the explosion that we just talked about. You're probably seeing what we just saw. I mean, look how many lightning strikes just happened within the last 5 minutes right here altogether. Wow. Caitlin, no. If anything, it's actually showing signs of falling apart because you got this side that's getting a little bit weaker. This side's actually getting stronger. So this one's heading over here to Russellville and Auburn. The Bowling Green side, the one actually getting a little bit weaker. Which way is it moving from Greenville? It's moving away to the south. No, and Caitlin only said whoa because like 20 or like that's probably more than 20 actually. It looks like almost 30 or 40 lightning strikes showed up at one time. That's why I was like, whoa. Haven't seen that one before. Tornadic, I hope not. No, I don't think this is curling in a tornadic way. We've been watching for that potential scenario, but looking over here at the velocity chart, I'm not really seeing any rotation with it. Let's go ahead and switch radars, though. Yeah, still not seeing any rotation with it. It does have that curl. I see what you're talking about, but it's not like a backwards comma at this point. It's just kind of the way the storm is shaped. I can't believe how much lightning exploded from that. Holy. Excuse me. No, Alicia. Sorry about that. I try not to do that on the broadcast, but I mean, we're all human here. Try not to yawn. Okay, that storm is starting to shrink once again now. All right, I think we have our pattern now. Yeah, it's on the back side. It's on the back side. That's not going to do anything. Let's go check this stuff up here in the northern portions of central Kentucky. Nothing there. Some lightning. That cell's heading the opposite direction as that cell. Don't really see that making any difference there. Okay, I think we have our pattern now. All right, so here's what's going to happen tonight, in my opinion. We're going to have an extension of these two lines, probably shaped like this. They'll probably fill all the way in and kind of just shape like that. They'll scoot off down here to the southeast, all right? Briefly pulsing up and down with either some more lightning or some briefly taller storms, which means heavier raindrops, okay? 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, so let's write that down, 30 to 40. That's probably the max, by the way. You're probably more so looking at 15 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. 30 to 40 probably being the max that you're going to see. Neither of those are severe. Okay, we've seen some very brief rotations on a couple of different cells, most notably in Morgantown and in Greenville. Both of those rotations quickly flared out and just became a bunch of lightning strikes at that point. So this tells me that these storms are growing, but they're struggling to grow beyond severe levels. So my thoughts are that this would not be a severe threat tonight. I do think, once again, we're talking about heavy downpours, some loud lightning, or some bright lightning, some loud thunder. Again, wind gusts, if they can get up to 30 to 40 mile per hour, that's great, but that's still not severe. It's not even close, honestly. And honestly, 45 is the highest gust that we've measured so far. And of course, once again, the other factor being that we're heading into the overnight hours. We're away from the peak heating. We're actually turning cooler for the night. So all of those things accounted for. I don't think we're looking at a severe threat overnight. I think, if anything, we could probably see these two lines eventually. You have this line down here. You have this line up here. I think we could try to see these lines eventually get together and maybe close the gap there. But as soon as they do, they're going to fizzle out because they're going to get into an environment that just got hit. They're going to get into an environment that just got hit. So I don't think we're looking at anything substantial tonight. I don't. So that's kind of our analysis for now. I think I'm going to not head off to bed, but I'm going to hit up the day bed that you see behind me there. I'm going to get into that, put the radar up there on the TV, kind of watch that for you guys. So if anything goes sideways, we can immediately hop back on the broadcast for you. But I don't think we're looking at a severe threat tonight, so no matter how loud it gets, no matter how bright it gets, just know if there's a severe threat, we'll hop back on the broadcast for you, no matter how big or small. So if you don't see us on the broadcast, it's not severe. Okay? We'll post radar updates every 35 to 45 minutes. But if I just feel like it's constantly going to be rain showers, I'll just go to bed. I'll let you guys know that as well. So, thank you guys for tuning on in here with us. I wanted to make sure that you guys were informed of what was happening. That's why we decided to go ahead and hit the go live button. But at this point, I just don't think that I don't think it's anything worth losing sleep over. I don't. I don't think this is anything that you have to go to your storm shelter or anything like that. Again, I don't even think this goes severe, let alone that severe. So thank you to everyone tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook. I see all y'all's kind comments. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. If you see us again, you know something happened. If you don't see us again, sleep easily. But until next time, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Stay safe.